Yo, this is Xist. Today we're going to be looking at a prototype concept called mouse girth that I've added to XaiLife this week. What this does is it takes the mouse and adds a sphere around it, and based on your zoom level, the sphere is either larger or smaller, so it's easier to click on things. So I'm going to type show collision here so that we can see the primitive collision shapes that make up these objects. The axes, for example, have some basic rectangular shapes. And if the mouse is right over one of those, you see it shows a purple square, meaning that it has an interactable target. If the mouse is not right over one of those, it's red. And so, especially then on small targets like these glasses, it's very hard to get the mouse right over the top of the glasses. I added native show debug support for my mouse tracking component, and it lets me see things like where's the mouse, how many traces did I do, in this case just a visual one you can see is hitting, what did that hit, for example the axe or the glasses or the rock. Now when we enable the mouse girth feature, you'll immediately see the difference. When the line trace doesn't hit, you still see it's red, but then there is a secondary spherical trace. And if the sphere hits something, then you can see the green sphere says, hey, I'm next to something that is an interactable object, and the smaller white sphere shows exactly where the sphere trace intersected with the object. So now it's much easier to select or at least mouse over the glasses or any other small object. Now the sphere size is relative to the zoom distance, so here we zoom way in, and you can see I still am doing a sphere trace, but this is much, much smaller than it was. And now as we zoom out, the sphere trace gets larger. So these are configurable as well. The idea is just that on different scales, you need a different size sphere. So um, here now we see that the visible occlusion of this block is preventing the axe from being selected. See, green sphere means I'm on an interactable object. Yellow sphere means I'm not on an interactable object. So when you zoom out at extreme levels, this doesn't work great. So there's a limit to what it can do, but in reasonable levels and very close levels, this works fine. I've turned off the floor visibility just because then it's easier to see all this green and yellow debug, etc. So again, we're going to show collision, and you can see now my target dummy is an interactable actor. My bot that I spawn in is an interactable actor, and so the mouse girth feature is working with both of these, whether I get near them or on them. When I zoom out, you can see still the scale's working, and so the mouse here is working the same as it did in the previous display. And now I'm going to turn off collision, and we can just run around the world. We can pick up some stuff. This is basically the same as what you saw before. It's just using the new mouse. So if we click on this thing, you can see somehow I missed that melee attack. So for those of you who have played games with me in the past, yes, Xist is confirmed. All right, let's take a look at the loot pinata. So here we spawned a bunch of items, and they're all pretty small. And you can see here how the mouse girth feature works. If you're directly over the top of an item, then yeah, that's the item you have selected. But when you're not over the top, then it's still giving you a much easier time picking things like whatever you're nearest. That's basically what's get chosen. So it makes it very, very easy to click on these different things. Of course, I am zoomed in, so control over the scale definitely matters here.